if it sells out?
Well, yeah, it's definitely been on the list of the next book to do, particularly when I know that all of the Hemingway fandom is finding out about this thing, and actually the guy that I did the promotion with has done a book about Hemingway in the comics, and has a chunk of the Foreman Boyd in there. So it's really becoming a cause celeb with Hemingway fandom, which is obviously much, much bigger than Cerebus fandom, which is why you're seeing this kind of heat. I think some of them are contenting themselves with buying sets of Cerebus, and just as long as it's got the Hemingway issues in it, they'll just write off the other ones. But it's definitely getting to be a going concern. So, but the problem is Diamond. If it's a choice between remastering Volume 3, Church and State 1, or Volume 4, Church and State 2, which is being printed. That should be in stores later this month. We're looking at a Diamond arrival date of October 9th. Those are the ones that have to be done. And now High Society is getting low. High Society remastered. So I don't have to phone Diamond and say, would you rather have High Society or Foreman Boyd? It would be, what is this, a trick question? No, we want High Society. Then it's, well, I can only keep the price of so many cars in the bank at one time. So it was get Jocka's story back in print, because that's Volume 5. Get High Society Volume 2 remastered in print. That's Volume 4. I was hoping that then we could get Sean started on Foreman Boyd, because it's a particular favorite of mine. But no, it looks like High Society might have to be done after that. And you can't run too many 500-page books through marquee printing at the same time. So hopefully after High Society, and I'm just waiting for Diamond to pull the trigger on that one and say, okay, this is the next one that we want. And the question is, okay, do you want 1,000, 2,000, or 3,000 copies of High Society? So you don't have to worry about it for a few years. So this is strictly inside Cerebus fandom thing. You can't get any further inside Cerebus fandom than a moment of Cerebus. So Cerebus fans, been looking for Foreman Void. We've got copies at Diamond theoretically. Now, order now.
Speaking of High Society, as of yesterday, it's available on Comixology for $13.
Is it?
Just throwing that out there for everybody. That's I put it on the blog yesterday. I'm going to put it on again tomorrow and for the next few days. Add it to the rigmarole of what's going on. But yeah, we got an email that from Comixology that I got forwarded to me from, I think, Sean, letting us know, hey, you guys can start telling everybody as of the 2nd that High Society is available, and it's either $13 or $13.95, something like that. I think it's $13.
Well, that's great, because that'll be Jason Benny's Comixology-friendly version of it, which works like all of the other stuff on Comixology, where you can actually drive around in there instead of just queuing up pages and reading them one at a time. If you're one of those people that just doesn't like hauling 500-page books around, get High Society on your phone, and then it's there every time you got to
Okay, everybody, by
Okay,
2.
well, the last one that we've got here is Margaret. Can't forget Margaret. Notebook number 16 was just seen last month in Drinking at Dinner Time, covering service 122 through 125. It has 67 pages scanned. I'll take your word for it, Margaret. On page 11 of the notebook, it looks like Dave did an outline for Cerebus number 123. So this outline has many pages with nothing really in them, just pages, numbers above them, and a name of the character. And then you sent me a fax of that page. I'm in looking at it. Anytime I did something like that, where okay, this is all of issue 123, but tiny little rectangles, pages 1 through 20, and as Margaret says, it's just got the individual character's name on the page, and the characters match the page up through page 9, and then after that they don't match it. I think that's me sitting and trying to write issue 123, and I'm not getting whatever it is that I'm supposed to be getting on page 10. So let's try doing real high altitude mapping of the whole issue simultaneously by drawing 20 little rectangles on the page and then writing the characters' names underneath it. And let's see if that helps. And just looking at it, I don't think it did. I don't think it helped at all. It's, no, why don't you sit down and focus on page 10, and when you've got a usable page 10, then you can start writing down what it is that's going to be on page 10. You're not at the high altitude mapping stage here with the second half of the book. You only got the first half of the book, and now just becomes the hard slog of let's come up with page 11, let's come up with page 12. Maybe somewhere up ahead you'll get a clearer picture of 16, 17, 18, 19 or something like that, which is great when that happens, but if it doesn't happen, it's just one page at a time. And Margaret had an interesting thought here. Oh, and Wayne Gretzky, the great one, was traded from the Edmonton Oilers to the LA Kings in 1988 after the Oilers won the Stanley Cup. Issue 123 is dated June 1989. Still on Dave's mind many months later. So to me, don't know if Dave was more concerned with Gretzky's NHL future. He never won another cup, though he did set a ton of records that will probably never be broken. I agree with that. Or with the similarity with Dave never selling out to one of the big two. I don't know if I've ever told this part of the Wayne Gretzky story, that in 1988, I was thinking, well, however big Cerebus and Dave Sim ever get, I don't think, and you can extrapolate that as huge as you want in 1988. In Canadian terms, Dave Sim and Cerebus will never be as big as Wayne Gretzky in Canada. It's just the ultimate, absolute, carved in stone, Canada, Canada, Canada story that for this age will never, never be superseded or added to or supplanted. came around the corner of Queen onto Charles ahead of me, and sort of like cut me off. Like it was one of those, wow, that's really not, that's a very un-Canadian thing to do. You don't actively pick up your pace when you're turning onto Charles Street if somebody's coming across Queen, and sort of like jump ahead of them. And the guy was wearing a sports jacket or a what do you call those jackets that sports teams wear? The sports team wear. Anyway, one of those jackets that has like a logo on the back of it, and it's like this was such an arresting figure walking in front of me abruptly like this that I took note. I went, well, he's got something written on his jacket. What's written on his jacket? And it was Brantford Parachute Club. And, of course, Wayne Gretzky is from Brantford. And I went, wow, that's really weird. I've just been thinking the last couple of days about Wayne Gretzky as the absolute Canadian story. And either when I went home or wherever I was going, the hot news story on CNN and every place else was Wayne Gretzky getting sold to the LA Kings.
Okay, that's pretty weird.
That is weird. That was another one of those, when that happens, you go, file that away in your mind. And it's like, I don't think I have to. I think that's as deeply filed in my mind as I possibly could. One of the things, and relating to Margaret talking about similarity with Dave never selling out to one of the big two, one of the really interesting things in the Gretzky trade/sale that got lost, I don't know how many people know this one, is the press conference was set up, and nobody knew what the press conference was about, but Wayne Gretzky's having a press conference. Just before Gretzky was going out for the press conference, Peter Pocklington, who owned the Edmonton Oilers, said to him, if you want to call this off right now, you can. and it's like Gretzky goes, well, you can't really do that. Like, it's set in motion. Well, if Peter Pocklington tells you, you can call this off right now, it's your call to make. I'm not forcing you to do this. That was a Dave Sim never selling out to the big two kind of thing. I think Gretzky's answer should have been, oh, great, let's call it off.
We're going to have a press conference where we announce nothing new is happening.
That's right. It'd be the Seinfeld news conference. It's about nothing.
Well, Jay Leno, he did his first year as the host of the Night Show after Carson retired, and there was talk that they were going to replace him with Letterman, and then Letterman split off to CBS, and they had a press conference to announce that Leno was going to continue hosting the Tonight Show, and he came out and said, we're having a press conference to say I didn't get fired.
Right. No, it would have been, it was an interesting moment because it's, I think if Wayne Gretzky would have done that, would have said, oh, no, if I can stay in Edmonton, I'll stay in Edmonton. I think the deciding issue was Janet Gretzky, because at that time she was still theoretically an actress and still had an acting career, and that would have been the big selling feature of going to L.A. was I can play for the L.A. Kings, and she can get her acting career back going instead of being just Mrs. Wayne Gretzky. And, of course, the way it turned out, she just ended up being Mrs. to do would have been to stay in Edmonton, to be who you were in Canada in 1988, that you could never be again after you'd gone to LA.
Right.
Okay, we're way past.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're probably getting close to prayer time, huh?
Oh, it is. I had forgotten how much I had to say on that one, and I can't not say what I have to say if Margaret asks the question. So there you go. So say hello to Paula and Janice Pearl and Natasha /Bullwinkle for me, and we'll do this again next month.